Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to dig into the science behind the ultimate afternoon recharge. We're going to find out if that quick little snooze is actually more powerful than your trusty cup of coffee.
You know the feeling, right? That dreaded 3 p.m. wall where your focus just dissolves, your eyelids feel like they weigh a ton, and you are desperate for something, anything to get you through the rest of the day?
So, for most of us, our gut reaction is to reach for caffeine, right? It's the veteran champion, the old reliable. But what if there's a more powerful underdog contender in this fight? Let's get right into the showdown. The quick hit of caffeine versus the deep restorative power of a nap.
Now, to settle the score, we're not just going to go with our feelings. Nope, we are turning to cold, hard evidence. We're going to look at this really fascinating study that put these two head-to-head on 3 very different memory and learning tasks.
So researchers over at the University of California, San Diego, they set up this really simple but super clever experiment. They tested people on 3 things: verbal memory, motor skills, like learning a new pattern on a keyboard, and perceptual learning.
All right, first up, verbal memory. And the results here, whoa, they were so clear. The group that took a nap did way, way better than both the placebo and the caffeine groups when it came to remembering a list of words.
Okay, but hold on, because this is where things get really interesting. This is what happened when they moved on to motor skill learning. And this is where the difference between feeling awake and actually performing well just snaps into focus.
This is just, wow, this is incredible. Both the nappers and the placebo group got a lot better at the motor task after their little break. But the caffeine group, get this, they showed impaired learning. They literally got no better at the task. So while the caffeine made them feel more alert, it actually got in the way of them learning a new physical skill.
And the researchers' conclusion pretty much says it all. Caffeine might make you feel buzzed and awake, but that doesn't mean you're actually performing better on complex stuff. In fact, it can even hurt your performance. So the big takeaway here is that for real memory and skill improvement, the power nap is our clear winner. Period. Okay, so the nap wins. Awesome. But how do you actually do it, right? Because let's be honest, a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day can leave you feeling even worse. So let's get into some real practical advice for becoming a pro napper.
According to one self-proclaimed professional napper online, there are 4 golden rules. First, timing is absolutely everything. You got to keep it to 15 to 20 minutes. That's the sweet spot to avoid that groggy feeling. Second, remember the goal is just to rest. You don't even have to totally fall asleep to get the benefits. Third, and this is a big one, try to nap somewhere that isn't your bed. And finally, number 4, practice. Seriously, napping is a skill.
Of course, I know what you're thinking. For a lot of us, especially if you're working from home, the bed is pretty much the only option, right? So how do you trick your brain into a quick little recharge instead of a full-on 8-hour deep dive? The whole secret is to just break your nighttime routine. You got to make it feel different. So nap on top of your blankets, stay in your clothes, or lie sideways across the bed. And here's a really weird one, but trust me, it works. Sleep backwards, with your pillow at the foot of the bed. It's just strange enough to signal to your brain, hey, this is just a quick stop, not the final destination. But what if you could have your cake and eat it too? What if you didn't have to choose between the alertness from caffeine and the brain-boosting benefits of a nap? Well, this brings us to a brilliant, almost magical technique, cleverly named the Nappuccino. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds completely backwards, I know. Drink coffee to go to sleep? But stick with me here, because the science behind it is actually rock solid.
Here's how this piece of genius works. It takes about 20 minutes for caffeine to work its way through your system and hit your brain. So if you nap during that 20-minute window, your brain gets to naturally clear out this molecule called adenosine. That's the stuff that builds up and makes you feel tired. Then, right as your alarm goes off, the caffeine shows up to a brain that's been freshly cleaned out, ready to be supercharged. You get the benefit of the nap and the caffeine, hitting at the exact same time. It's a 1-2 punch.
So, we've looked at the science, we've got the pro tips. What's the big takeaway here? What's the best way to boost your brain when you really need it?
The science is just so compelling. If you want to actually enhance your memory and learn new skills, a power nap is way better than caffeine. And this illustrates such a crucial point. Feeling alert is not the same thing as performing better. The nap gives you a real, true cognitive reset. Caffeine sometimes just papers over the cracks without actually fixing anything underneath.
So maybe the real answer isn't about choosing one over the other, but just being smarter about it. With techniques like the Nappuccino, you can start to figure out what your brain actually needs at that moment. Is it just a quick jolt of alertness, or is it a true deep restorative reset? So next time that 3 p.m. slump hits, what's it going to be? Thanks for joining this explainer.